guys, Mr. Wolf here. Now, after all of the units, tests, quizzes, homeworks, notes, review games, and help sessions, we still have a math emergency. It's the difference between least common multiple and greatest common factor. This video is going to show you the difference between both and when to use them, as well as steps involved when you use them. So stay tuned, grab a notebook, sit back, relax, and let's get going.
First, a quick tale of the tape. Now, when fractions have two different denominators, you now have to find the least common multiple to change the fraction to have the same denominators. Then you'd add, subtract as usual across, keeping the same denominator. Check the answer to see if it can be simplified or reduced. Then find the greatest common factor using factor pairs. Divide the number into both numerator and denominator, and then you have your answer. First, what you do, to find a common denominator, you need to find the least common multiple. The least common multiple is the smallest positive number that is a multiple of two or more numbers. Another way to think about this is least is another word for smallest. Common is another name for same. And multiple, of course, are the answers. This chart you see in front of you with 1 through 10 will be an easy way to determine what the multiples will be of the two denominators you have in your question. Using the question 5/6 plus 2/3, here is how you would use this chart. You would first take 6 and 3 and place them at the end of the chart on the left. Then using the supports of the times table at the top, you would multiply 6 and 3 by 1, 2, 3, and so on. Then, once you've written out all of the multiples of those two denominators, identify the common ones by circling them. And then circle and find the least common one, or smallest number, that are the same on both lists. With this example, you have found 6. Using that 6 we have found as the least common multiple, you would then have to multiply between the numerators and denominators for both. Seeing that 5/6 already has a 6, you can actually leave that alone. So to convert 2/3 to a denominator using 6, you multiply 2 by the numerator and denominator. You get 4/6 as your new fraction. So then you take 5/6 and then add 4/6 together to get 9/6. Again, with a similar denominator, all you do is leave it alone and add, subtract, divide, or multiply straight across to get 9/6. The next question you have to ask yourself is, did you reduce it? Can this fraction be reduced? Even if the question doesn't ask to simplify, please try to simplify. Using our answer of 9/6, we now have to use the greatest common factor to reduce or simplify. A greatest common factor is the highest number that divides exactly into two or more numbers. When we find all the factors of two or more numbers, some of the factors end up being the same on both lists. These are, of course, common. Then we find the largest of those common numbers. That turns to be the greatest common factor. Greatest is another word for biggest. Common, of course, means same. And, of course, factor are the numbers in our lists. If you look on the left-hand side, a good strategy is to write down the numbers 1 through that number, in this case 9. On the other side, we have 6, 1 through 6 on the left-hand side. A common strategy here is to look on both lists. If 1 starts on the left and 1 ends on the right for both lists, you are done and haven't skipped any number. Your next steps in this process are to circle all of the common numbers on both lists for 9 and for 6. Another strategy I like to do is, like a magnet, put in the middle a box or a circle to pull all of those common numbers that you've circled into the middle. As you can see, 1, 2, and 3 are common on both lists of 9 and 6. When you look just at those numbers in the center, choose the greatest or biggest number to get your greatest common factor. In this case, the greatest common factor here is 3. Now you will use this 3 to reduce the fraction 9/6. To maintain balance of this fraction, 9/6, you take the greatest common factor of 3 and divide both numerator and denominator by that same number. So in this case, we have a numerator of 9 divided by 3 and a denominator of 6 divided by 3 to get 3 seconds. Now note, not all fractions once reduced becomes an improper fraction. Just this example in this case. Alright guys, hopefully that gave you a little bit of more insight as to when to use least common multiple and greatest common factor. Now before this video concludes, what I would like you to do is answer the exit ticket. Now how are you going to answer this exit ticket? Well, what you're going to do is, once it becomes on screen, pause this video and apply all of the rules that you just learned for least common multiple and greatest common factor. Now, no cheating. The answer will be in the credits at the very end, almost like a post-credits scene. So if you get it right, great. If not, go back, watch the video again, watch some lessons that the teachers have already taught about this, watch the PowerPoint presentation that I did earlier as well on this very same topic. Whatever you need, just let us know. And as always, if I don't know, I can't help. So reach on out, ask me those questions, email, phone, whatever it takes. It's the best way to learn. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you soon. It's Mr. Wolf saying, take care.
Thank you very much.